Father, thank you for the beautiful days that you're giving us. And we fussed about the water, but we needed the rain. But be with this group tonight as they spend their time doing things for the community and doing things that the town needs to do in order to carry on the business and to provide the things that the people need. And forgive us for our sins and bless the people that could not be here tonight for whatever reason, but give them healing power if they need that. And bless you and bless us and bring us together. In this God's name we pray. Amen. Amen. I call the meeting to order. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. On the consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items in the consent agenda.
I make a motion we approve.
All in favor say aye.
No.
Opposed, no. Public comments. Individuals wishing to address the board are asked to provide their name and address for the record. Please come forward.
Hey guys, we're with Hope Center Ministries. We recently just did the concert in the Singing Grove over here. We'd like to give you guys a little bit of information about Hope Center and then present you guys with a present from Hope Center to you guys. Brock?
Yeah, my name is Brock. Thank y'all so much for allowing us to spread awareness of what we're doing currently in Wayne County, and as we send men and women into Johnston County, the goal would be to allow you guys to experience firsthand a Hope Center here in Benson and what it can do. We hope the concert was just a glimpse of what it provides. When we looked around the crowd, there was, I think, 26 ministries that were present. I've seen the count in the paper, but I've also figured about 600-700 people were there. There was a lot of men and women giving their lives to Christ that were speaking about recovery, a lot of feedback. For us, it was just spreading the knowledge of, hey, we're here and there's a solution. How can we make the next step in getting you there? Currently we have 41 centers across the country. We've been around 15 years. So North Carolina is one of our newer states. We have 3, but the goal by 2024 is to have about 9 or 10 in North Carolina, predominantly from Raleigh East. You guys are probably very, very well aware there is a need, and it's not going away unless we address it. Our recovery center is Christ-based. It's a year-long program. There's with the 3 phases. The beginning is kind of getting their foundation built, because without that, a house won't stand. And then the second phase is 38 weeks where we're pairing with businesses. It's a partnership that we know is work, but we consider vocational training. It is unpaid, but it's building a relationship with a partner in the community, learning a vocation or a skill or growing in one they already have. And it's allowing them to have a trade and an occupation to have a sustainable life after the program. Because what justice are we doing if we hold them tight in the nest for 12 months and when they go to fly, they don't have anything to land on. So it's about building a relationship with Christ, getting the recovery, meeting people in the community, building that foundation, and having the opportunity of going into a new life and a new start that they can succeed in. And we would love to see that happen here in Benson because it's proven successful. I won't bore you guys with statistics, but if you look up in long-term recovery, which would be like what would be considered like a 90-day or longer program, the average success rate is about 20 to 25% in recovery for that to stay. Our year-long program, I could speak on, the Goldsboro Center is under 10%, and the national average of the 41 is around 14% departure rate. So So we're talking an 85+% success rate. And it's not from checking the boxes, we're just putting the man above first and letting him guide our steps. If we could have done it on our own, we would have done it over the years prior to, you know, entering that relationship with Christ. We do believe that's the missing step in that. But like I said, I don't want to bore you with the facts, but thank y'all for allowing us to just be part of the community, whether it be the cleanup day or just coming out to restore table on Fridays and helping build and pray and anoint over tables and doing the park. And like, we love the community here, and we're thankful for being allowed to just be part of it.
With that being said, I know you guys get a lot of people who stand at this podium and say a lot of things to you. Brock and myself, we're both graduates from the Hope Center. We spent 12 months at the Hope Center, and now we get the opportunity where our lives were unmanageable. We get to help restore our lives and help the next man that's coming behind us. And with that being said, I hope that with us speaking and sharing some information with you guys about Hope Center, you understand that we have a genuine connection and an appreciation for what you guys allowed us to do in your town. And we hope that we can continue to do things like that, because just with that one concert alone and you guys allowing us the opportunity to facilitate a safe place for people to come, it's no telling how many lives we touched. There were mothers, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters at that concert, at a Christian concert, that were able to get resources to help them either personally or through the connections that they have, get resources to find help for their loved one or themselves. So with that being said, we put together a little something to present to you guys. Ms. Pickett, if you would please come up here. This is the artist that helped us put on this concert. His name's Rob. He goes by Rare of Breed. And he was the main performer at the concert. We got him, his DJ, and one of the guys that DJs with him to hand autograph this. And we'd like to present this to you guys in appreciation for what you've done for us in helping us put this concert on.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, give it to Tyler. Thank y'all.
Thank you for y'all's time.
Thank you very much for coming, and we really do appreciate what you guys are doing for our community and for a lot of other communities, and we're looking forward to working with you in the future. So keep getting up.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate
Thank you very
it.
much.
We're gonna keep on keeping on.
Thank y'all.
Anyone else wants to come forward and speak?
Yes, my name is Francine Stevenson, and I'm here to speak briefly about the request for a special use permit near Allen's Crossroads, because my land is directly adjacent to the land that is asking for the rezoning. I have wooded land. It's on, it's 50 acres, and the Barefoot man who wants to rezone has, I believe, 65 acres. It's largely wetlands. And I have a map here that I got from GIS that shows the floodplain taking a large portion of my property and his property.
What are you hoping to come from your presentation?
I'm hoping to raise an objection to it being rezoned to manufactured housing from agriculture and residential.
So the rezone was actually postponed because we didn't have quorum for the planning board meeting. So we're not gonna have that on the agenda tonight. It'll be at the next meeting, the first meeting in May.
Oh, well, I did not get that word.
It's okay. It was in the paper. It was posted in the paper, but the day before it hit the paper, it was canceled because we didn't have quorum for planning board.
Well, is there any way I can leave you with my remarks tonight and then not come back?
How does,
No, they won't be recorded, so
yeah.
wait
Okay.
until that is called as one of the.
Well, can you answer a question for me? Does manufactured home include mobile home?
definitional thing. I think a manufactured home, I don't know what you mean like a single wide or a double wide, or I think they're all interchangeable terms.
I thought so. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to know. And I also wanted to know whether if something is rezoned to be manufactured, to include manufactured home, whether that means it can be multiple manufactured homes.
And typically, that would be a zoning question. If it's rezoned, then it still has to satisfy the UDO or Unified Development Ordinance requirements as to how many single-family dwellings can be placed on a particular sized lot. So if you rezone a 1 acre tract of land, say you can only put one, unless you get it rezoned to a higher density classification, you can probably only put one. I don't know about the particular application because it's not being heard tonight, but you could probably only put one residence on that tract. If you had 10 acres, that might be, it might accommodate more, but.
Well, this is 65. But
Okay.
can you give me the date and time, a little piece of paper or something, anything there? I'm sorry, I did not get that
It's
message.
okay. You got a piece of paper?
Thought they were showing up, but I didn't get the message either. No, they didn't have a quorum.
If you do want,
And what?
I would suggest you go to the planning board
And come here.
and then come here too.
Oh, really?
I know
Yeah.
that's a lot of time on your schedule, but I would suggest.
Because
your
it's gonna go to
401k.
them first for them to approve, and then if they approve or disapprove, it comes to the board and they make the final decision, so I think.
Yeah, and Miss Lambert.
Okay. Thank you.
That I came and
Anyone else wants to come forward to speak to the board? No one else is there, we close the public comment. All right, we go to old business. Consider approval of the Tyler Technology contract.
So we have,
Kimberly?
oh, sorry. So we have before you guys, y'all had the presentation at the board retreat. You had it again at the last board meeting. This is the actual contract for Tyler Technologies, which would be to replace our financial software and our billing software. It is a one-time fee of $92,578. And then there's a recurring fee every year for maintenance and for them to put it in, to host it. That is $68,078. That would need to be paid. That would actually be paid in June, and then that would be a recurring fee every June. So we bring the contract before you tonight. I think Ike has reviewed it, and we're going to take it out of the ARPA funds that we have.
Well, 98 pages, I've reviewed it, but I couldn't tell you what I reviewed. That's why we pay the big bucks to the man over there.
Big bucks.
And I think it was a done deal from our last meeting.
We just have to bring it forward for final
Okay.
approval.
Let me give you one highlight. I don't really have any major issues with it. This is a very standard looking IT services contract. It is not written in a way that I find, I've seen a lot worse, I'll put it that way. I've seen a lot where they put a lot of provisions in there that obligate us to some terms that kind of paint us in a corner. One particular thing I point out to you, you've got something of an off-ramp or a termination for convenience clause if you don't fund the contract. So in other words, let's say year to year, you're not satisfied with Tyler and their product that they're delivering to you. If you don't vote in your budget to fund that contract, they view that as a valid termination as long as you give them some notice. So I read it to go from year to year the way they've drafted it anyway, and you have to give them 60 days notice. But even beyond that, if you voted to withdraw the funding for payment, you could cancel it. I won't say cancel at any time, as it were, so to speak, but you would have certain off-ramps periodically if you said, we're not satisfied with this firm anymore, we're gonna vote to not fund this contract in the future. In doing so, you've not breached it, and you could just get out of it. So there is something of a, although you know, there's lots of details in these 92 pages that you can go through, but
Well, here I see electric cities are already using them, and we don't have any options, really. Our other option in going with what we're doing, we can't do that, and it's more money, and I looked over it, they've even got their travel time, and if they leave Maryland and come here, how much it's gonna cost us, and, when their day starts, and all of this. I make a motion that, we approve their contract as long as, you approve their contract.
yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It's long and it's very detailed, but, the substantive legal part of it, and like I said, with that off-ramp that you've got built in there, that you've kinda got an ability to pull back whenever you needed to, I'm okay with it.
And the best thing about it is we've got the money for it that has to be used on something like this. It's not coming out of our budget to, try to make ends meet,
Right.
okay?
Any other questions?
Ken, what is that 68, I think it's 68, 78 returning?
Recurring fee. Mhm.
What does that include? Is that just the maintenance?
It's
or-
maintenance, any upgrades, they're hosting us, so we will be in a cloud base. They have the servers, they keep maintenance on those servers, but we have to pay the
So
fee.
any updates, we won't have to worry about being behind, that's included?
They will do them all. They usually will schedule a time, it's usually like midnight, 1 in the
business
morning,
hours.
yeah, yeah. And then they'll let us know and we'll check it and keep moving
I will
forward.
say that this is the software most of the registers of deeds that I do business with is the other side of my practice in my real estate. Use Tyler to host their, online record access. And it's just, this is anecdotal, but it speaks for itself that a lot of them use it. Number two, my use of it, I think it's a pretty good product. It's also what the clerk of the court, the, administrative office of the courts is rolling out to, use for their new, and they haven't updated their system since probably the early 80s, that, to make their, filing and record keeping and online record access with the clerk of court. So where you used to have to physically go to the clerk of court's office. They're using Tyler too, so, again, I'm not having an issue with the legal part of it, and that's what you pay me to look at, but just for your own edification on that company, they're pretty big.
He says he approves it, Will, so you wanna make a motion to?
I've already made the motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Consider approval of, water tank maintenance agreement.
So again, this is a continuation from the board retreat, and last week, we had utility service company come out and do an assessment of our tank. We are asking to, repair the tank. Y'all saw the pictures, you know how bad it is. Take it down to the bare metal and then, repaint it, service it, get everything back up on top of it like it should be. OSHA approved, all those things. That is a one-time fee of $457,868. That again is gonna come out of ARPA funds. And then from here on out, we will have a maintenance contract with them that is about $20,000 a year, which the Verizon tower, equipment pays for. And just so you guys know, today we got a preliminary drawing for another phone company, the one that we've been working with. So that's an additional probably $30,000 that'll be in our budget. So we'll start putting that money back if we ever have to do anything major that would not, be in this contract. But, that keeps them on a perpetual maintenance agreement.
Where are we with the, tower that Dean brought up as far as we're responsible for relocating, and they said, hey, we've got a good rapport with them,
Yeah. So-
that we can probably handle that, but
Verizon has their own tower. Then we actually met with them on site last week to determine where it was gonna go. We're still negotiating who's gonna pay for it. But the fact that it's their tower is gonna help, even if we do have to pay for it. We're talking maybe $50,000. And that again is money that we can take out of ARPA. It would not come out of our operating budget, but we're still working through negotiations with Verizon on that. I checked in with Scotty before the meeting.
What do we need we're voting on the 400-something thousand.
I think you vote on this, and if we have to pay for the tower, I'll come back and let y'all know, and then you can vote on it.
And I've
And
discussed-
then
But the
Ike
con-
has some things to
I've
say too.
discussed this with Kim, there's a few other things in this contract that you have for your review, and you have reviewed, that I would like them to add and change, that there's not been time enough to deal with their legal department and their executives that need to look at that, I guess. They also need to provide a bond that they didn't provide in this, a performance bond. So with those additional items that need to be delivered and changes that we want to see made in this, in discussion with Kim earlier today even about this, my suggestion would be is you can approve the expenditure, you can approve the, enter into the contract at those amounts, contingent upon a final contract and required bond, that will be, satisfactory to me and our staff, that you can approve finally in draft form. It doesn't necessarily need to be discussed again. We could do it in the consent agenda, maybe at the later meeting, the second meeting this month, or at a later meeting. I think the second meeting this month will have everything else ironed out. That would be my suggestion. But
Yeah.
wouldn't ask you, I don't think Kim is to approve.
Approved based off of Ike's revisions that he hadn't been able to make. And so
And
if,
their provision of a bond, which
Right.
by statute they have to deliver.
so we can put the finalized with Ike's revisions in consent next time, but at least approve the fact that with those revisions, we can move forward.
I'll make that motion with the revisions as far as them being approved, as far as the bond goes. One question, how much funds are in the arbor?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Uh,
Okay, so, we actually received $1,249,931.37. We gave a bonus to all of our employees last year that totaled $142,299.50. I know you're writing this down, aren't you? Okay, so I'll make sure all right, Tyler Technology is $92,578, plus we're gonna go ahead and pay the first recurring fee of $68,078 out of the ARPA money. The tank is $457,868. That leaves $489,107.87.
Have we got a time limit on these funds before they go away?
2024,
Say the last figure again.
the total, 489,107.87.
When is the money due to DOT?
That money is not due till the 95 project is done.
We can't pay it, just go ahead and pay it?
No. But here's my suggestion, because we can use it for revenue replacement. My suggestion is, we all know in our discussions about the audit this past year, that Fund 30 has projects that were overrun. So we had the Main Street project, which was NC 16, that's overrun 217,132. And then we have the public utilities building that was overrun by 241,032. My suggestion is going to be, once we get all this done, or at least the work like rolling, I think we should at least pay off the Main Street project and get it to zero. And then make sure we don't need any of the remainder money for like the tower that we might have to pay for on the temporary tower. And then if we're free and clear of software, tank, then we pay off the public utilities building with this money. That'll still leave us $30,000 that we can put into revenue replacement in an operating budget, or we can put it in maybe the community park project.
How much is owed on the public utilities bill?
$241,032.
What's the interest rate?
Well, that's just the project. I'm not saying pay off the loan. I'm saying
Okay.
clear the books on the project side so we're revenue positive on that side. So that way, when the audit comes, you're not showing you're having to borrow money from 30 to pay these funds that are water sewer projects.
I didn't think we could use that money for everything that you just
We can
talked
use them
about.
for revenue. They've changed the rules.
Less than the, anything, everybody that any municipalities that got, less than 10 million, they're wanting you to use it as revenue replacement. It's a lot easier with the reporting, and then it frees up that money to do with what you want. Yeah, that's really, when it first came out, it was very strict.
Right.
But they have.
You remember when it first came out, I was like, we're not spending it until we know, right? Because they kept changing the rules every time we turned around. But now they're pretty much, everything's settled. It's revenue replacement for us. So my suggestion is going to be we clean up some of these projects that were overrun, that we're having right now. The only way we're cleaning them up is if Fund 30 has a positive balance come the end of June, and then we move it into the project. But I say we go ahead and clean up some of these projects that are overrun in Fund 30 specifically.
But we can or can't use it for our parks.
We can use it for
can.
revenue replacement, yes.
Okay,
I was gonna say, don't you have a motion on the
I
floor?
do. My motion stand.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right. Parks and Recreation concession contract. Come forward, Mr. Parker.
Matt Smith.
Mr. Smith.
It's been a while. Forgot your name.
Hey, how is everybody tonight? I'm coming up here to request that you all approve the contract that we would like to put in place, that Ike has done for Sisters 2 Ice Cream to take over the PK Viz concession stand at the PK Viz Park.
We've got a copy of that in front of you. It was not ready until after the agenda, the packages went out. I understand if you need more time with that, but I think it's good that Matt present the substance of it. And if you need more time with the agreement, I understand that totally, but this was.
I think it's great. I'd like to make a motion, we approve it.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that I understand what I'm
Sure.
approving first.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Basically, what we're doing is, we would like Sisters 2 to come in and take over our concession stand. To give you an idea of like what we put in and what we're getting back out of it. A typical 2-day tournament on the weekend, we'll put in between product and staff roughly $1,200 to $1,300. That's buying all the product, paying all the staff to be there on a 2-day tournament. The last 2-day tournaments, the last two 2-day tournaments that we had, we brought in $1,419 one weekend and $1,476 on the very next weekend that we had it. So we're bringing in a minimal amount of money on top. What we're suggesting is that Sisters 2 comes in, takes over purchasing all the product, takes over staffing everything, takes over selling whatever they want to sell as long as it's approved by Johnson County Health that they are allowed to sell it, and then the town will get 20% of the gross sales on top of that. So anything off the top, 20% gross sales the town would get back. I put downside on here, but I don't see one. So I'm coming in to see what you guys think and to
Ms.
ask your approval on
Maxine,
it.
I will tell you that in sitting on this board and my children playing in different areas, we are the only facility that we go to, Smithfield or anywhere else, that doesn't have outside concessions running their concessions. I've been to ball games when the little children that they've got running the clock and running the concessions, we had 2 games left in a tournament, and they had to leave and go. Well, they're being paid $15 an hour. That ought to be good money, but they're gone.
They're not getting paid 15. They're getting paid at the outside 10.
Okay.
$10 an hour.
But anyway,
Now, this
there
is
was nobody there, and our fields have been absolutely packed full for the last 3 to 4 weeks, except for last weekend, and that's bringing in all of this money to the town, and we've got a beautiful field house with nothing being sold as far as hamburgers, hot dogs, and stuff that they're going to staff.
They're gonna have more imagination. They're gonna bring in more things to sell. They're gonna have, to me, the concession stand is, I have to do it because we have to provide that service, but I'm not gonna go crazy with it. They're gonna have more imagination to come in and sell different things, to sell their ice cream, to sell things that are gonna bring more money. It's gonna henceforth bring more money to the town. They're gonna staff everything. That's gonna open up our workers to go and cover a table that somebody else can't go, somebody else has to leave from. So the benefits are, to me, endless, but we can, we're gonna take those staff members that are in the concession stand, use them elsewhere, where we're not having to pick pick through a lot of, kids that aren't gonna be able to be there. And, they're gonna bring in the imagination and the spirit to sell more and better things. And but again, they're not gonna sell anything that's not approved by Johnson County Health. And they've already met with the health inspector. And Jim and Deborah are here if you have any questions directly for them.
Or the town, right? I mean, there's, in this agreement that I've drafted, there's, again, I understand you want time with this, Maxine, but there's a healthy modicum of control that the.
Yes.
Really, I'll say the town, but really the Parks and Work Department, this board through its subsidiary employees has to control or, decide upon, how you want that run.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not gonna be haphazard. I mean, they're not selling anything inappropriate or anything like that.
Is all, and I'm just asking, I think it's a great idea. As I travel around with my girls playing ball, it's kind of sad when we come here and we don't have anything.
That's right.
So is all they're gonna sell ice cream, or are they gonna actually sell other things other than ice cream?
No, that's gonna be a full,
It's gonna be a full concession.
ice cream's gonna be like, yeah, that's like a
Okay.
secondary part. yeah.
Okay, okay. That's dessert, okay, all right.
Ike, have you covered them with this?
They've not got a copy of it yet.
Hey, we'll have a copy as soon as I walk out of here if you guys are,
So obviously, this contingent on their agreeing to
Right.
the request, but.
I want everybody to be happy. I'm that kind of guy.
Oh, I'm fine with it. I just like to know what I'm voting for
Yes,
before I
ma'am.
vote. I'm not gonna vote for anything.
It's,
I know what I'm voting for.
Ike's got all the ins, outs, what have yous in here, and I'm sure there's nothing that is out of line or there's no small print.
So state the motion again that
I'm gonna make this
stipulates
motion.
them.
I'm gonna make this- I make a motion that we approve this contract.
On the stipulation that Deborah and
Yep,
Oh,
they
yeah.
agree to it, yep.
I'm gonna second it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna vote. I say yay.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep, thank you.
And by the way, we can quit putting money in Parks and Rec from the budget, and you're gonna raise your money, right?
Hey, Matt, really while you're up here, tell the board what we've got coming and what we're looking at. Your new equipment is ordered,
The playground?
playground.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Equipment's ordered. We've got, Doug is online to get our trees down. We got a really good price from Doug, to not only do the playground trees, but the other trees that had to come down. It was, $5,000 for the playground, and I think another 15 for the rest of the trees that have to come out, which, 1,500, yeah, not 15,000, sorry, yeah. 1,500. But the playground, it's gonna take a while for it to come in. We ordered the Americana version, the color scheme, which is red, white, and blue. And I haven't heard from John Bars yet. He's supposed to get me a timeline. I emailed him last week, see if he can get me a timeline of delivery and install. So as soon as I hear from him, you'll hear from me.
And to answer Dean's question, I don't know if y'all heard, occupancy tax was gonna cover the difference. It was like $31,000 and some change. So we've had to put down a 50% deposit on the playground, so as soon as that check clears, I'll send it to Donna, and we'll get that reimbursed in this budget year. But it did approve it, which was great.
Thank you. And I was gonna go ahead and ask for the open space, but the capital grants from the Visitors Bureau, so I'm gonna ask for something else,
Yeah.
which is the ramp at the Grove and possibly some brickwork and driveways if there's enough to cover it.
Tell about Community Day while you're here.
Sir?
Oh.
Oh, Community Day. Oh, yeah, May 6th is going to be Community Day. We're using that as opening day for the Wii Ball and T-Ball. We've got, I might get this wrong backwards, but we've got 10 Wii Ball teams and 8 T-Ball teams, and they're all going to play that day. We'd like to do a ribbon cutting for the fields and the field house at 10 a.m. You're all cordially invited right now by me, May 6th. If you could all make it, come on out, please. But we think there's going to be a lot of kids. Well, we know there's going to be a lot of kids out there because there's 18 teams that are going to play. At least 18 teams are going to play.
I'd like to see all the commissioners lined up when we cut the ribbon, if they can be there that day.
that's May sixth?
May 6th. The ribbon cutting, we're trying to start games at 9. The ribbon cutting is going to be at 10 unless something, we have to change something. That's what we're planning on because we think most of the people will be there from coming from one game and going to another. And we're going to have all 4 fields are going. All 4 fields been going since March. We've had tournaments every weekend, 3 out of 4 weekends a month. So, and there's been 1 day, 2 day, there's even been a couple of pop-ups.
Any other questions of Matt? Thanks,
You
Matt.
said the ribbon cut is at what time at?
10 o'clock is what we're shooting for. We're starting games at 9. If that means that we'll have a bunch of teams that are just getting out of a game and a bunch of teams coming into a game, and that all the teams bring moms, dads, grandpas, grandmas, and aunts and uncles. So we should have a good crowd at that time.
We've got something we'd be proud of, I'll tell you that. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, Tyler.
All right, so this is for the art sculpture at the library. It's a rotating, kind of a rotating program that we put in last year. And this is going to be the new one, or at least if you guys approve it, of course. This is the current sculpture out there. The lease ends in May. And the art board, after looking through a bunch of portfolios of local artists, decided on a big hand. Check it out. It's a big hand. I think it looks pretty cool. It's a Durham-based artist. The lease could begin in May. Orange County is trying to snatch it before us, but if they do, we can get it in August. And we like this one the most, so that's the one that we want to go for. $1,800 for 12 months, and that is the bed tax, paid for the bed tax. And here's some more pictures. Pretty cool. It's on a trailer there to give you an idea of the size. And there it is when he was making it. And I don't know if we'll allow people to sit on it, but I guess if you can put your kid up there, it'd be a pretty good picture. So, and that's it. So we just need your blessing to move forward with the new art piece.
I make a motion, we approve.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Thank you, thank you.
Town manager's report.
So it's a really short meeting, y'all. It was supposed to be much longer with 3 public hearings, but I don't think anybody's going to complain that we're getting out early tonight. I do want to tell y'all, so we have Farm Heritage Days coming up the 14th and 15th of this month. Due to the rain this past Saturday, the Easter egg hunt has been moved to the 15th, and it'll be at Nance Field from 10 until 3. The egg hunt starts at 1, but you know they always have a big event. There's usually hot dogs and bouncy houses and lots of entertainment. So if y'all are in the area, come to that. Matt stole my thunder on the ribbon cutting, but that's May 6th at 10. So make sure y'all come to that. And I will say that Tyler got out the call for artists on the gymnasium for a very sports-themed idea for the newest mural that we're going to be looking into for this next fiscal year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get back on that. That's going to really tie that whole community park together. And then the last thing I've been asked is to remind you all that on Friday, May the 12th, is the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast at Benson Baptist Church. Breakfast starts at 7:30, and the program is at 8 o'clock, and we hope you all can come.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay, William.
Just wanted to say publicly thank you to Public Works. They took care of a water issue pretty rapidly for us on the west side of town a couple of weeks ago. So thanks to Jeremy and Kim and all the rest of the staff that made that happen. The public hearings that were scheduled for tonight that got moved, will they come next month or will they come at the second meeting?
They will have to, the planning board only meets once a month, so they'll come.
I thought our charter said they had to meet within every 30 days.
Well, as far as I know, and talking to Aaron, they'll be here next month, but Ike will look at that.
Okay, all right. That's all I've got for right now. You'll get me that answer.
Well, that's something we need to take a look at because we usually know before the meeting if somebody's going to be out. And to have that thing and have to cancel it at the last minute was...
I feel like not lately.
Well, she found out last minute.
Not lately with this, the board we've had over the past couple of years, but in the past, we had a lot of hard times getting quorum. And if I'm not mistaken, we had to push some on the development side, had to push some envelopes, cause I believe that it states they have to meet every 30 days, within
Yeah.
every 30 days,
We'll look at it. He's looking right now.
just so we're not holding up projects.
Yeah, 'cause I got a call from one today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know these two is mad if
I'm sure.
Okay, Will.
Nothing. Okay, I'll start.
Are you ready to go?
No. I was just so shocked, that's a,
He can't see the clock.
Yeah.
listen, do you have something you want to say?
No, no. Don't know enough about it.
I really don't have anything I want to say. I just want to ask the question. On, what is that street? Johnson, Lee Street? There are some limbs that have been laying in the road since we had our, what street is that? Cassandra. You know where I'm talking about? When we had the retreat. It's a house that I think people moved out of and they cut some limbs and stuff. Well, they've been laying and they're in the road and people are having to stop and pile them back up. They've been there since we had our retreat.
Is it on Lee Street?
Yeah,
Okay.
that blue house.
It's close to John's house.
Who's
It's,
John?
it's next door to John.
Huh?
I think that's who we're
Talking about the
talking
same road the fire department's on?
Yeah.
That's Elm.
That's it.
That's Elm Street.
No.
No.
I'm talking about where the Nance, ballpark is. That's
Oh,
on-
okay.
uh-huh,
Like over here.
Yeah.
My guess is that they're non-compliant, and we've probably notified the homeowner to get them in compliant or get them up, but I'll double check tomorrow for you.
Yeah, because people are having to stop and put them back over there.
Okay.
Are anything in compliance anymore? I'm talking about have we quit picking up? I had that same question asked to me.
We are no longer, we're out of leaf season. So we've sent out a lot of letters in regards to leaf season, because that ended. So I have sent letters that if you have leaves, we're not picking up leaves anymore right now. We're out of that season, so they need to go in your green cart. But they're
can't
still
put
picking up.
these- The ones I saw are on, right before you get to the swimming pool, turn off 301, going toward Bowman Enterprises. They've been there for 4 weeks now, and
Have you seen
they are big, yeah. It's probably Chuck Lee's property that it goes over to.
I think I talked to Mr. Lee about some stuff
Okay.
last week,
Tony
but
Woodall asked me last week, I said, Tony, he called the town and they said, no, you've got to put them in your container.
yeah, and let me
He
tell,
said, I can't put them in the container because I said, well, buddy, cut them up smaller. Just
leaves he can't put in the container?
like some limbs.
I think the county could take them for free at the landfill site and pay taxes for that too, in our county taxes.
And let me,
Food haul them over there.
let me say this too, because I've had some people say, well, I don't use my recycling cart. So what's another option? The recycling cart and the yard waste cart cost the exact same. And they have 3 because they pay for 3. So if you have a constituent that doesn't use recycling and needs a second yard waste cart, I'm happy to switch those out. And they can have 2 yard waste and 1 trash can, and they cost the exact same thing to the town.
You mean the yard waste and recycling, not the trash and recycling?
Yard waste, they can switch, I'm sorry. They can switch recycling for another yard waste can. So 2 yard waste and 1 trash. There's still 3 cans, they just wouldn't do recycling. So we can do that. I've actually done that for a few people since we've started sending letters out.
Between the trash receptacle and the recycling, is there a difference there?
In
They're
cost?
in the same truck, yeah.
Ain't nothing
Trash
else, so
is-
they put all of it together.
Listen, I have talked to them till my face is blue about that. But
Yeah.
trash is, I want to say trash is $15 for the cart, but yard waste and recycling are $4.18.
They are.
But if I pull all my shrubs up and put them to the road, they're gonna stay there, and do I get them up?
Looks that way.
Cassandra,
I don't have since we had the retreat.
Well, now,
The-
went
I-
to
The planning
Road
board
Dog
shall hold at least
Yeah.
one regular
Yeah.
meeting in each
Yeah.
month, which
Order.
shall be open to the public.
So what?
They've gotta hold it.
The planning board shall hold at least one regular meeting in each month, which shall be open to the public, is our ordinance.
But how many meetings do they have right now? One
Just one. They have
They
one,
gotta have a
they have a
meeting.
planning board and they have
According to your ordinance.
adjustments, planning of, like, the adjustments board meets if they need them to.
The language in each month, I think means,
Could you notice that
In
you
that
turn
calendar
around
month.
before our second meeting?
But it just says it's gotta be open to the public, so they can just have a meeting, don't mean they gotta take a.
well, they've gotta have a meeting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, they just gotta have a meeting.
Yeah,
See?
I wonder how her.
All your meetings open to the public.
Over here and how,
That's another question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know
But
if she'll have time to
you're the
advertise
11th
those
of
public
the-
hearings.
You're really getting dicey on the timing here. I think you could have another planning board meeting. I don't know that you could have a planning board meeting and then get it in front of this board, but I can sit down with Aaron and determine that.
I just wanna make sure, because that's how I've had this conversation with other town staff before, that may or may not still be employed here, that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, so that we're not holding up people who are trying to do business.
I just emailed Aaron, so we'll have a discussion first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Anything else? Appreciate everybody coming. Police, we had a police in red shirt for a
No,
while.
oh, Billy's here.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I made a motion.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, we are closed.